$70,000. That's the price one of the Sosho school katana sold for. These Japanese swords, often associated with the valiant and powerful samurai, are true treasures and symbols of a rich and fascinating cultural heritage. But first, you're probably wondering how a katana can cost so much. Behind these renowned blades hide the rock stars of the time, the blacksmiths. These guys were the real magicians, turning a pile of scrap into a deadly work of art capable of slicing the air. How did they do it? Alchemy, patience, and a touch of mysticism. Imagine, entire nights spent forging, folding, hammering. Their knowledge was so precious it was passed from master to apprentice like a treasure. But now, what if I tell you that the price of the Sosho school katana pales in comparison to the record-holding samurai sword, the most expensive sword in the world? Whether it's a sword with a blade that looks like a phoenix feather, or a monster-slaying katana, the legendary Japanese swords we're about to explore have fetched such astronomical prices that it's almost impossible to guess their value. So buckle up, we're taking off to ancient Japan to discover the 5 katanas that cost more than your apartment. If you thought $70,000 was a crazy price for a Japanese sword, brace yourself, because we're about to take things to a whole new level. Let's kick off our top 5 with a Kamakura Katana. With only $418,000, it's the good deal of our top. Forged by the famous blacksmith Masamune, the Picasso of Japanese swords, this 13th century katana is a testimony to the era when samurais ruled supreme. It's the ancestor of modern katanas, and its history is as sharp as its blade. This sword is said to have been wielded by the legendary samurai Miyamoto Musashi in his iconic duel against Sasaki Kojiro. That duel is a clash of titans of Japanese martial arts that has been immortalized on the island of Ganryujima, adding a whole new level of mystique to this Kamakura Katana. Years later, the katana was acquired by Dr. Walter Ames Compton, a medical doctor with a serious obsession for Japanese swords. His collection was insane, over 1,100 Japanese blades. After he passed away in 1992, his epic collection went up for auction in New York, raking in over $8 million and setting a new record for one of the biggest katana sales ever. It was during this auction that this Kamakura Katana found a new owner for the modest sum of $418,000. Owning this katana is like having a piece of the Renaissance in your living room, except this is the Japanese Renaissance. And that, my friends, is beyond priceless. Today, this legendary Kamakura Katana is owned by an anonymous European private collector. Unfortunately, it's not on public display, but it occasionally goes on tour to various museums and art galleries, giving fans and curious onlookers a rare chance to check out its craftsmanship and beauty up close. The Okanehira is somewhat the grandpa of katanas. Imagine a sword so beautiful, so perfectly forged, it could almost make you cry. Created by Kamakura during the Heian period and used by the generals of Oda Nobunaga, it has witnessed the battles that shaped Japan. Its value, $1.83 million. A true piece of history that has crossed ages. It is the reflection of an empire, a culture, and a history that continues to fascinate. But hold up, it gets even crazier. Back in the early Showa period, swordsmiths tried to recreate the legendary Okanehira, and guess what? Even with modern tech, they couldn't pull it off. Their attempts ended up with thicker, clunkier blades weighing over 4.4 pounds just to maintain strength. Meanwhile, the Okanehira nailed it at just 2.97 pounds with its sleek design, thinner blade, and those iconic grooves. The Okanehira's history is epic. It's a national treasure among national treasures. Today it rests at the Tokyo National Museum, a silent witness to a bygone era. Third on the podium, the Yamanbagiri Kunihiro at $2.03 million. This old-timer has survived more battles than all the heroes of your anime combined. A literally legendary blade. Why so much money for an old blade? Stick around, because in a moment, I'm going to reveal the macabre tale of this sword. In 2017, the Yamanbagiri Kunihiro was displayed at the Ashikaga City Museum, drawing a staggering 38,000 visitors. And the story doesn't end there. In July 2023, Ashikaga City and and the Ashikaga Citizen Cultural Foundation dropped the bombshell. They were planning to buy this legendary sword for $2,030,000. Why? The sword is not just a national treasure, it's expected to have a massive economic impact for the city. Previously owned by a private collector, the sale was completed in March 2024, and the katana is scheduled to go on display soon. But what dark story lies behind this katana? Okay, get ready for a chilling tale that adds a whole new level of intrigue to the Yamanbagiri. Forged by Kunihiro, a master of steel, this blade is said to have sliced through more than just bamboo. Commissioned by Lord Nagano of Ashikaga Castle, the Yamanbagiri Kunihiro was owned by Nagao Akinaga from the Hojo clan. Defeated in the Battle of Odawara, the sword fell into the hands of Ishihara Jinzaemon, a retainer of the Hojo clan. One day, while he was walking in the mountains with his pregnant wife, Ishihara Jinzaemon's wife suddenly went into labor. Luckily, they found a little house where an old woman lived. With his wife in good hands, Jinzaemon set off in search of help and medicine, but when he returned, he discovered his wife dead and the old woman eating his newborn child. According to legends, under the guise of this old woman was in fact a mountain witch, also called Yamanba. In despair and rage, Jinzaemon slayed the evil witch using his blade. Yeah, you heard that right, a witch-slaying katana. Talk about a blade with a backstory. This is how the katana came to be called Yamanbagiri, literally mountain witch cutter, a blade with a dark allure and a sense of power over evil. Next up, we have the Sanchomo, or Yamatorige, as stylish as its name is unpronounceable. $5 million for a blade that has seen more battles than your favorite video game. What makes it so special? It's Hammon. Look at this mesmerizing blade. It's a true work of art, crafted through long hours of forging. This katana is fire, literally, with a pattern that blazes along the blade. The name Yamat, meaning mountain bird feather, comes from its unique blade pattern, which looks like delicate feathers formed during the tempering process. Why so expensive? Because art, my friends, is priceless, especially when it's a national treasure crafted by an anonymous genius whose talent has crossed the ages. Crafted by the Fukuoka Ichimonji School in the Bizen province, this sword is considered the pinnacle of Bizen swords. Back in 1556, the Yamatorige was gifted to Ugi Kennen by Lord Naga Norag of Shirai Castle. Kennen cherished this blade, and it became one of the prized 35 swords of Ugi Kagekatsu, Kenshin's adopted son and head of the Ugi clan. By March 17th, 2020, a purchase agreement with a private owner was sealed at $5 million. Today, the Yamatorige proudly resides in Satoi City and gets its annual spotlight at the Bizen Osun Sword Museum. The Yamat's purchase price is one of the highest ever for a Japanese sword, ensuring it stays in Japan. And yet, we're still a long way from the record sales price held by a Tachi, a Japanese sword similar to the katana, but with a longer, curvier blade. We finish with the auction monster, Fukushima Mansanori. The name is as long as its price is high, $100 million. This Tachi is like the Ferrari of samurais, except you can't really drive it. How is it possible? Belonging to a 16th century warlord, this jewel is loaded with history and zeros on its price tag. But why is this Japanese sword worth the GDP of a small country? Well, picture this, the Sengoku Jidai, an era of constant warfare and shifting alliances, where samurai warriors clashed in epic battles to claim power and territory. Amidst this chaos, Fukushima Mansanori stood out as a formidable warrior and leader. This lord is known as one of the 7 spears of Shizugatake for his bravery and military prowess at the Battle of Shizugatake. His Tachi sword, with unparalleled skill and artistry, was made as a symbol of his prowess and status. Holding this sword is like holding a piece of Japan's soul in your hands. Who forged this wonder? The mystery remains, adding to its mythical value. We hope you enjoyed this little trip among millionaire samurais. These Japanese swords have left an indelible mark on history, not just through the finesse of their construction, but through the epic stories and legends that surround them. Sometimes the true value of a sword isn't about the materials used, it's about the myths that give it life. Take the cursed blades of Muramasa or the legendary swords of Masamune. These weapons are so legendary that they still influence our culture today. Whether in Metal Gear Rising, Final Fantasy, or Bleach, you've probably heard of these legendary swords without even knowing it. I will tell you all about it soon, so make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next video and all the epic tales to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.